All right, welcome to the Peaceful Abs Project. Okay, I'm gonna break this down, and each week we'll have lessons that, as we go, will add to your understanding and your skills and your abilities to make this even easier and easier. Okay, because first and foremost, why do we want anything? We think we'll feel good when we get it, right? And so we do things for enjoyment, but the way we go about things is completely joyless. And so you're number one, you're most likely not going to achieve the goal, but number two, even if you do, you're going to do it in a way that is not enjoyable, and so it's not going to be sustainable. Okay, so these are things that people don't think about when they start something like this, and they end up complicating it, and then they eventually go back to, you know, the way they were doing things. Okay, we're good. So first and foremost, what is this about? Okay, it's about, and how do you get peaceful abs? How do you get lean peacefully? Number one, it has to be simple. Okay, we need to have simplicity. This means, maybe you've heard this, is that we ignore the trivial many and we focus on the vital few. Okay, and there's not a lot of things that matter when it comes to losing fat on our body. Despite what Instagram says, despite what influencers say, despite what experts say, there is literally a couple things that matter. Okay, the second piece of the puzzle is enjoyment. Um, you're not going to have peace if you're doing miserable things. Number three, you need to be able to adapt to every situation. Okay, so if your fat loss is dependent on things being perfect, then you're not going to get peaceful fat loss. Okay, because nothing is ever perfect. Okay, so we want our fat loss skills and our ability, and we want to achieve fat loss no matter what's going on, when, how, blah blah blah. And so there's a bunch of things that come with that. One is, like, you need to have the skills. Okay, because if you don't have any skills, I'll give you an example of, if I play basketball. The more skills I have, right, the more I can adapt to whoever I'm playing, whatever situation it is, so on and so forth. And same goes for you in work, right? The more skills you have, the better you are able to close the gap regardless of the situation. So peaceful abs, or peacefully getting lean, requires us to be able to adapt to every situation, right? So all this, number one thing is, we have to build our skill set and our understanding and our mental state, right, on first principles. All that means is that it's not like, if you observe fat without any other, like, preconceived ideas or having drawn conclusions about why or how, right? Because somebody said this, you find out the physics of fat loss. Okay, and so how does fat actually leave the body fundamentally? Okay, and so all this stuff is going to be built on that. Okay, I'll give you an example of this. A lot of times people will say, oh, it's age and your metabolism slows down, or you got to eat clean foods or healthy foods. And then there's all this connotation and context behind that makes things, not true, but miserable. Fat loss is about calories. Okay, you consume atoms. Everything is made up of atoms, and if you don't breathe out more atoms than you're taking in, you're gonna store excess atoms as body fat. The human fat molecule, we know this is not made up, is 55 carbon atoms, 106 hydrogen atoms, and 6 oxygen. That's the human fat molecule, right? Most of this leaves through respiration, through breathing out. Okay, now, and we can measure this, by the way. The vital few there, I'm gonna try to keep all these lessons very short because I want them to be actionable. I don't want to just consume. I want to execute and refine and develop skills. Okay, I don't want this lengthy, things. And then I also want to build momentum. Okay, because it's nice to start to see, change. So the three things that really matter is decreasing calories. And by the way, just going to put a little caveat. That doesn't mean, oh, we're going to go to 1,200 calories. Everybody would lose almost all the fat they wanted, even at 2,000 calories. I'm going to tell you exactly how many you're going to consume, but number one thing is watching our calories, okay? And we're going to track accurately for that, which is why I asked you to get a scale, and a portable scale and a home scale, okay? Number two, increase activity. We measure that with steps. So I don't really care what other workouts you do. I will probably at some point during this, 16 weeks, talk about strength training properly. But as long as you're hitting your step target, I don't really care what workout you do. You can do anything, right? Obviously, good old fashioned strength training is best. But as long as you're doing some type of resistance training, you're good. And in actuality, to lose fat, you don't even need to work out. Um, Number three, increase enjoyment. Okay, we already talked about this, but we want to make it a point to purposely increase enjoyment on a daily basis. Okay, so that's all that. I want to get into what's actually going to happen. Like I said, I want these to be as actionable as possible. I don't want consumption, I want transformation, okay? And so how are we going to go about this? Here's what the work is going to look like, okay, on a daily basis. Number one is we're going to monitor calories, okay, and report. So you're going to report to me how many calories you're consuming, okay? Obviously, you're going to be tracking that in macro factor, but I want a daily update of these calories, these fats, carbs, and proteins. And this was the step count, this was the body weight, okay? So you're going to send me those daily numbers, okay? In order to track those calories, you're going to weigh things in grams, okay? We don't use volume, so like cups and things, because it's not very accurate. Weight is the most accurate thing, okay? Number two is going to be hit your step count, okay? I would like to get 10,000 steps daily. That's all we need. If you get more, fantastic. But we're not doing more for the sake of more. We're doing the right dose, okay? Then we got the weekly check-in. You'll receive a link, right? And every week you're gonna fill out that link and send it to me, okay? And then this is really where a lot of the magic happens is game tape review. So when you're trying to improve at anything, and we'll use sports as an example, if you're trying to improve your game, you're gonna watch a lot of game tape because you want to see, oh, this is what happens when I do this, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. If there's no game tape, we could just talk and like maybe you'll get something out of it and you understand, but you'll get so much more. Anybody who's actually serious and wanting to cause change, they're going to review game tape. So how do we review game tape? In our communication, game tape is going to be you weighing and recording things, taking pictures of stuff that maybe you're not familiar with, and then showing me how you tracked it in MyFitnessPal or Macro Factor. And and then talking about the situations, like maybe you had to go out and you ordered, so then rather than just order whatever, how do you go about, what did you order, how did you track it, and then we can talk about, and it can even be beforehand too, like, hey, I'm going here, this is the menu, this is what I'm thinking about ordering, this is the calories that I'm thinking it'll be tracked as, and then we review it. And so as questions, comments, things come up and you send them to me in Telegram, then we'll be able to review game tape. And then what I also will be doing is I'll invite you to One of my other coaching workshops, which happens every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, and during that, I like to take examples from the week, real world examples, and break them down as you would do in reviewing game tape. So this is going to be lesson number 1. Okay, overview. What's the actionable points? What are we actually doing, and how are we going to achieve the peaceful abs that we are looking to uh, achieve? And so that's that. Watch this video. Send me any questions that you have, and just shoot me a message that you watched this, and kind of what one of the most important things for learning for ourselves is being able to distill ideas down to as simple as possible. So I'm going to encourage you to use something that my mentor Nick Peterson uses a lot, which is a 6-word update. um, uh, and so you're distilling whatever sticks out or whatever your main points of something into 6 words. Okay. And so it really forces us to take a look at really integrate ideas and learn and hold on to them better. Plus, as we share 6-word updates with each other, we get different perspectives, and so one of the things that I have seen a lot is wisdom comes from multiple perspectives, and it helps us refine our own thinking. So that's that. Let me know that you watch this. um, Send me a message in Telegram, and then we're going to I'm gonna shoot you a message, and I'll probably start sending you your calorie targets, etc. And then the next piece of the puzzle is going to be it's also going to be more actionable, but it's going to be talking about the food enjoyment matrix, okay, and the 4 lenses of fat loss, or keystone foods, because that's going to be the cornerstone of our daily eating, okay. And so again, all this we can boil it down. We can boil it down to: you want to lose fat on your body, decrease your calories, increase your activity, aka steps, and increase your enjoyment. That is it, okay? And my biggest job is to take away as many things as possible so that you focus on something that actually causes fat loss. Everything else, no matter what anybody is saying, is not the driver of fat loss, okay? And it doesn't matter. I'll see you guys. I will see you in the next video.